Hey, Mike. I got a little box, and when I don't want somebody to find stuff, I put it in there. What do you call that? What do you call it?
A stash.
Let's stash some guys. Producer. Welcome to the Dynasty. Welcome to the Dynasty Forecast with Grindberg and bigz. I did so many Dynasty Pulse episodes last week, getting ready for the Scott Fish Bowl, that my mouth is tuned to it. We're stashing guys. So in your redraft leagues, that would be ESPN.com, Yahoo.com, NFL.com, CBSSports.com. When you're playing your family, kill your family. When you're playing in your work leagues, murder your coworkers. But not for real. It just in football, in fantasy football. What you want to do is stack your. We've talked about this. In the early rounds of the draft, you want to get the highest point production possible, and then later on, you want to throw some darts, spin that roulette wheel, take a chance, right? So what we're going to talk about today is guys that maybe in your last rounds, depending on your team build, your last rounds, you want to take guys that you may not necessarily want to have to use a waiver spot for. Like say somebody comes off the comes off of the IR. And they're in waivers, and you want to pick them up off waivers, and you have the first waiver spot. But then there's somebody else who's going to come out the next week because somebody else got hurt. You want to have that guy on your bench so that you can use your waiver wire one priority for the next guy, right? I didn't explain that as well as I could have. You'll have to forgive me. But we're talking about those guys, the guys that you stash, the guys that you sit on. We're talking about those today. And my first one that I'm going to talk about is a tight end. And you know me, I don't like drafting tight ends. So my stash players are all the very latest round tight ends. Take them with your last pick, etc. And that's LA Rams tight end Colby Parkinson. Now, Colby Parkinson is second on the depth chart behind Tyler Higbee, but Tyler Higbee is presumably on the physically unable to perform list. He had surgery coming off an ACL tear. He's probably not going to start the season, which gives Colby Parkinson, a guy that the Rams just paid a free agent contract to, brought him in from the Seattle Seahawks. They've got some incentive to use him on the field, and he's going to be in a Rams offense with Matt Stafford throwing the ball 550 times, and Puka and Cooper Kupp out there running routes. He's going to want a safety valve. So there is a world which exists that Colby Parkinson is going to not get drafted in your redraft league, and also be a productive tight end. So I would grab him with my last pick or so and stash him. I mean, you can, if you want to go your last 3 rounds, tight end, defense, kicker in any order, take Colby Parkinson. Let's have you go. Who's your next one?
Okay. I'm going to start mine off here. And I'm going to start with a quarterback, and we're talking about stash players. So this guy might not actually make the lineup to start the year. He's definitely not the starter to start, but he's a promising stash in 2024, despite uncertainties about his playing time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I'm talking about Justin Fields, and the trade that brought him to Pittsburgh was a steal for the team, hinting at a potential bargain for fantasy managers. Although Russell Wilson seems likely to start at quarterback, Fields has shown he's more than capable with his dual threat abilities. In his limited starts over the last couple seasons, Fields consistently put up quarterback 1 numbers. In 2022, he finished as the quarterback 6 in fantasy points per game, highlighting his skills, both running and, a little bit of passing to influence that as well. Even in 2023, when his rushing stats dipped, he still managed 200 passing yards per game, which kept him somewhat relevant. Fields might begin 2024 as a backup, but his dual threat potential and the long-term prospect in dynasty leagues makes him a smart stash for fantasy gamers who value future growth and should consider seriously adding Fields in 2024 just as that flyer later on in the draft if you can find him. And he might even be a waiver wire pickup, but if you could be a week ahead of your competition on that one, he could be a league winner for you. And I'm going to go ahead and name my second guy here, bigz, and that is another quarterback that's a stash, not in the starting lineup to start the year, but, the Seattle Seahawks, despite a challenging year, have a gem, I think, in Sam Howell. Sam Howell was, pressured quite a bit later on in the season when Washington decided to dismantle their team. So this situation could pay off if Geno Smith is inconsistent and the Seahawks, have a history of using backup quarterbacks. If Howell gets a chance due to Smith's struggles with injuries, he'll benefit from throwing to top receivers like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and we can't forget about rising star Jackson Smith-Njigba. Even though Howell starts as a backup, don't overlook his potential if he becomes the starter. Howell showed his ability with a league-high 612 pass attempts last year, suggesting he can score well in fantasy. So a guy I have my eye on, a guy later on in drafts that you could probably pick up off the waiver wire, just like Justin Fields. Now, bigz, give me your number 2. Who's your next guy up there?
Well, first of all, I want to reflect on this list that you just threw out there, and
Okay.
and I'm loving the Sam Howell steam. I love Sam Howell. I'm a huge Sam Howell stan, and Geno Smith is good, but Sam Howell, if he's in a competent offense, he could absolutely crush. The other thing is, I love that you brought up one of his wide receivers. Isn't that Kanan Smith-Njigba, Mariners outfielder? Isn't that his little brother? Is that the guy on the Seahawks? Anyway, yeah. Okay, so you also brought up Justin Fields, and I have another 2021 quarterback that I'm stashing. In fact, within the hour, I drafted him in the Scott Fish Bowl. You all know my number one quarterback this year is Dak Prescott. He's my number one target. I'm not saying he's my number one in that he's going to score more fantasy points than all other quarterbacks. I'm just saying he's my number one target because of the value. Now, he's got a backup there in Dallas. And if anything were to happen to Dak Prescott, God forbid, because I'm so heavy in Dak Prescott shares right now. Trey Lance, 2021 first-round draft pick, drafted ahead of Justin Fields and summarily dismissed from the San Francisco 49ers, who had spent so much to get him and didn't think that he was going to win the job over Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold, even though he has far more rushing ability than either of those two guys. What do we talk about all the time? Clipboard carrying quarterbacks and their eventual breakouts. I think Trey Lance is a perfect candidate to do that. If something happens to Dak Prescott, he enters an offense that already has Jake Ferguson at tight end, who's the ultimate red zone target, and a guy you might have heard of named CeeDee Lamb, who is my number one ranked wide receiver in 2024. So if Trey Lance gets that opportunity with his rushing upside in a PPR league, he's going to absolutely be dangerous, and I'm here for it. And I'm going to be taking him as my second quarterback in so many redraft leagues. It's going to make your head spin. But enough of that for now. I would like to shine a spotlight on a certain rookie quarterback. We're talking about a wide receiver room. We're talking about targets out the wazoo. A brand new offense. They brought over the offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt from Cleveland to New England. Jacoby Brissett may start the season, which sinks Drake Maye's draft value. But Drake Maye is my ultimate quarterback stash for 2024. Get him on the field with Pop Douglas and Javon Baker and Jalen Polk and Hunter Henry and Ramondre Stevenson. He will have a fantastic second half of the year, and he is my number one, my spotlight stash quarterback for 2024.
Yeah, I love that call. I think he's got an opportunity. He has that rushing upside, and he's got some young stars waiting to just scratch the surface here. And I got a compliment for Drake Maye here, because he's a guy that is going to be paired up with my spotlight here as a stash as well. So bigz and I have a couple New England Patriots here that we're spotlighting today. And that might get our Patriots fans a little bit optimistic about what is about to happen there. But hold your brakes here. We're talking about stash players in
It's not dynasty number 2. The Gerard Mayo dynasty. Come on.
Exactly. But we're talking about fantasy football, and, there's going to be some points scored in the New England Patriots offense. And I think Hunter Henry is a smart stash for fantasy football in 2024. He is set to lead the New England Patriots at tight end, despite competition from Austin Hooper, Mitchell Wilcox, and Jaheim Bell. Henry stands out as experienced and consistent, and with Mike Gesicki gone, Henry is primed to be a key target in the Patriots offense under new coordinator Alex Van Pelt. Given the Patriots' current offensive setup, Henry's role becomes crucial. The team lacks top wide receivers, potentially making Henry a go-to option for rookie quarterback Drake Maye, or potentially Jacoby Brissett if he ends up starting. His knack for scoring, seen with 6 touchdowns in a short 2023 season, makes him a valuable in fantasy football, especially in red zone situations. Henry is typically ranked as a mid to low end tight end 2 in drafts, and his past performance and expected role in New England's offense makes him a late round steal. Despite uncertainties with a new coach and quarterback, Henry's reliability as a pass catcher provides stability in the lineup. Fantasy gamers looking for consistent points and touchdown potential should consider Henry as a reliable stash option. Hunter Henry emerges as a top stash for 2024, poised to lead the Patriots tight end group with proven reliability, scoring prowess. His role as a top target in this evolving offense under Van Pelt positions him as a high upside stash capable of exceeding expectations, and is a valuable late round steal. I'm looking for him everywhere I can get him. Bigz, how about you? What are your thoughts on big Hunter Henry?
I just have one thing to say. Ooh, pig suey, Razorbacks.
Yeah, buddy.
I love Hunter Henry. Very, very bereft that I was not able to draft him in the fishbowl, but what are you gonna do? Pivot and take Colby Parkinson. All right. Thank you guys for watching the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and Bigz. Hopefully we gave you some thoughts to chew on. Thank you for subscribing and hitting the bell, liking the video, sharing, and all that stuff. Catch us at the Fantasy Football Expo if you can. Canton, Ohio, August 10th, 11th, 12th, 9th, 10th, 11th, something like that. Look out for the Fantasy Sports Advice Network app and website coming soon, and sign up for our jersey leagues. Go ahead and DM me at BigBonedFFB if you want to play for Justin Hines Allen Jaguars jersey in an IDP league, or a Deebo Samuel league in a tight end premium league. Then all you have to do, so basically what's happening is you're getting it's a $50 buy-in essentially, and you get a free subscription for a full year to Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Not a bad deal. And yeah, at BigBonedFFB, hit me up.
Yeah, you can find me at FCanuck99, and you'll find me there as well. Everywhere you find Bigz, you're going to find me, and you're going to find us at the Fantasy Football Expo. So from everybody here at Fantasy Football Advice Network, Bigz, what do you got?
We hope you win.
We hope you